I please have your attention? There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
What? So I don't know if anybody can hear Brad, but Brad has been talking for the last 10 minutes, and I have no idea what he has said. So tonight is the Big Fuss Show, and I'm John, and Brad is going to be on shortly. So we're going to fuss about all this stuff together in very brand new to the... I have to go look at what the topics were. I know that he was pushing in there, so I believe he wanted to start off the show with Harbaugh and the NCAA. For those that don't know, Jim Harbaugh has been under investigation from the NCAA because of sign stealing. He had an Secret Service, whatever it was. The guy worked in military, ex-military, ex-spy. There you go. And they were caught because they were bad at their job. That's it. Plain and simple. Brad, are you there? Maybe. Yeah, still can't hear you, Brad. I have no idea what you're saying. You're saying stuff, your lips are moving, but your mouth, that there ain't no voice coming out of your mouth. You ain't got anything coming from your mouth. Brad, you should probably use a different microphone. Yeah. You should throw all your equipment into the trash, buy all new equipment, record from somewhere else. On our weekly screw-ups here at College SportsCast, where we can't seem to get any sort of technical difficulties corrected, I will continue to talk, blabbering on about whatever life brings at us. Like watching Brad try to come back. But then...
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Hey, there's voice on the other end of that mic.
Okay, man. So, I don't know. I did this on Sunday by myself and didn't have an issue at all when I was by myself. Like the sound was fine.
Yeah.
Who was telling you at all?
Who was telling you that the sound was working?
I rewatched it and I had it on while I was on, so I could tell if I had sound or not.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. It only does it when I have other people on for some reason.
It can't even handle one other person?
Anyways. Apparently not. I don't know. So I'm not sure. But anyways, we are College SportsCast, and we're here to do the Big Fuss Show with John Roberts.
What's up? What's happening? I've been talking about nothing, so you might want to just find a way in post to cut all that. That'd be great, because I said a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have said, and things that I regret, but I probably,
Whatever. All right. Okay. I'll see if I can cut all that.
Just cut it all in post.
All right.
We weren't live at all.
Nah.
Live on WSBN TV channel 30.
All right.
And YouTube TV.
Our opening hot topics. See, I can hear it clicking. Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, I hear you. You're there.
Okay. Texas QB, the backup Murphy is likely to start for the injured Ewers this week. He got injured last week, and of course, their backup is a star quarterback. So, it's probably not that big of a deal.
So their backup, their number 2 is not the Manning.
Nope. Manning, who is a true freshman, is their third backup. The third quarterback, and he also is a 5-star. They have 3 5-star quarterbacks.
So Arch is number 3.
Yep. Arch Manning is number 3 this year. Yep. He's going to redshirt. They're going to redshirt.
Well, he can still play in 4
games.
games. He can still play in 4.
Yeah, he can.
And not red.
You're right. He can.
Yeah. I know I'm right.
Yeah. All right. So I heard you talking about this just a little bit when I was trying to come on. So there's a Michigan staffer, all right, who has bought tickets to 12 of the 13 Big Ten schools and 6 other college football playoff contenders games from around the country since 2021.
Nice.
Yes. So, and this guy is buying them.
Did he
off,
purchase
like,
tickets under an alias? Under an alias?
So apparently this guy's been fired, by the way, from the reports that I've seen.
James Bond.
Yeah. But it's a little weird that he's bought 12 of the 13 other Big Ten schools. There's 14, Michigan being one of them. So he can only do 13, and this guy has bought 12 of the 13 other Big Ten schools.
He didn't go to Rutgers, right? They were like, you know what? We don't need him at Rutgers.
Yeah, Northwestern, somebody. Yeah.
Who is the school he didn't buy one to? Because that says a lot. That says, you guys are bad.
Yeah. You're right on that.
Horrible.
Yep.
Yeah, that says a lot about the other school. That's like, we don't even have to worry about it.
6 other contenders, both of the SEC championship games the last 2 years are 2 of the 6. The 2021 championship game and the 2022 championship. This guy bought tickets for.
Okay, so here's the question: Did he? Okay, Georgia never faced Michigan, did they? Because Michigan got knocked out, right?
No, because Michigan hasn't won. Yeah.
But what about the year before? It was Georgia versus Michigan, wasn't it? The year before?
In the first round, maybe. Yeah.
No. When they won,
seems
when
like
they won
maybe
the
it was
championship,
Georgia
who did
versus
they?
Michigan.
Yeah. And how did that turn out? You're probably going in and out. I don't know. I can't tell.
That was first game.
Oh, there you are. So
yeah.
So what were you saying about
Georgia
that one?
and Michigan, I think, maybe played. Did they play in the first round in 2021? They may have. I can't remember.
You're going in and out right now. Let's take a look. So yeah, that's right. Because Alabama played Georgia, right, for the championship last time. So let's figure out if Georgia played Michigan in the first round. was just trying to see how that worked out that year. Where are you? Did you run off? Are you hurt? What's going on? I can't hear you, but I'm not looking at your face, so I can't tell if you're talking or not. Are you talking? I haven't heard. Are you frozen? You must be frozen. Brad, you're frozen. That's what it is. You're frozen. I can't see you. I can see you, but you're not moving. So that's why. I can't hear you, can't see you. Frozen Brad strikes again. So, again, let's see. Georgia defeated Michigan. This looks like in the 2021 second semifinal game, Orange Bowl guard in Miami. Georgia defeated Michigan 34-11. These wins by Alabama and Georgia qualifying them for the national championship. All right, so 34-11. Now, so Kirby Smart's response is probably one of the best responses that I've seen in this.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can now.
All right. I definitely do need some new equipment. I've been buying new mics, but I've been buying cheaper ones because every time I buy something, I have an expensive one, but the way I'm running this right now, I can't use it because I'm running this off of my iPad.
Oh, yeah. This is dumb.
All right, guys, I'm going to move along, go to my Zach Edey. It leads the preseason AP All-American team for college basketball. And the interesting thing here is there's 4 big guys on the AP All-American first team.
Hey, I just want to go back to that one just for a second because this is what I was looking for. Okay.
Okay.
Kirby Smart was asked about if he was aware that Michigan had a guy that was out there stealing signs. Okay. Kirby responds, "There's nothing I remember about the Michigan game that makes me think that."
I think they beat them pretty good, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was 34-11. It was 34-11 was the total, the victory right there. And that's what was funny is that they asked Kirby, and Kirby's just like, I mean, we beat them by so much that I have no idea, man. Yeah, right. Sure, but probably not.
Yeah.
All right. Continue on. I just wanted to bring that up. I felt like that was a poignant point.
All right. John Shire, before he begins his second year as head coach of Duke, gets a 6-year extension. I think that's noteworthy. I mean, he's not even begun his second year of coaching yet, and he gets a 6-year extension. I guess they're committed to John Shire being the Duke head coach.
I guess so.
I mean, yeah. Sounds like
the point
it,
guard.
Right?
The point guard from 10 years ago is
10,
he's
12
the guy.
years ago. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember him being a player.
Right.
So
I just find it a little interesting. He's not even begun his second year as a coach yet, and they're already ponying up 6-year extension for him.
Hasn't begun his second year as a head coach. He's been in coaching. He's been in a bench coach for Duke for how many years?
Well, he's been an
Before?
assistant coach for him for a few years. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Several years. Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere.
I guess Duke is where you start your head coach career.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to go to our pick six, our first pick six that we're going to do, and I'm not going to play the videos because it'll cut me out probably.
Oh,
is
yeah.
top 6 SEC teams.
Top 6
we haven't
total?
done one of these for top 6 SEC teams. Who do you got?
Let's see. Top 6 SEC. Let's go Georgia, Bama. Let's see. Mizzou, Tennessee, 1, 2, 3, 4. LSU, that's 5. And I mean,
it gets kind of
it's
like hard,
like
towards the end.
There's a bunch of teams that could be there. You could have Texas A&M, Kentucky, or Florida right there, and it doesn't really matter because they're number 6. So it's either Texas A&M, Kentucky, or Florida at the moment. Could change tomorrow.
I'll give you that. Oh yeah.
So
it probably will change by Saturday.
So Georgia, Bama, number 1 and number 2, and then it could be anything between Tennessee, Mizzou, and LSU as number 3 or 4 or 5, and then after them, it could be anybody between Kentucky, A&M, and Florida.
That sounds like a good list.
Probably Kentucky a little over. No, sorry, Florida over Kentucky because Florida beat Kentucky, but Florida and A&M
Kentucky
haven't
beat
played.
Florida.
Yeah, there you go. Kentucky beat Florida, so Kentucky over Florida, but don't know what the no head to heads with the A&M. So
right, yeah. I mean that sounds right. I mean I can't throw any stones at you for that list. So let's move on to the second one. And we'll do top 6 Pac-12 teams. I feel like these are the top 2 conferences right now overall from from head to toe because they have the most good teams in them, I think. So what's your top 6 Pac-12 teams?
So Washington, Oregon, I know. Is it Washington State's lost a couple of them? Is that what it was? Washington State's lost a couple. Oregon State, yeah. So Oregon State.
State's just lost one.
Oregon State, Utah, Washington State. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last one. I mean, you have USC. I guess maybe UCLA. We can go UCLA because USC is going downhill and going downhill fast. So
they are.
Which I told you a few weeks ago when they hit this murderer's row, they were going to start losing, and they have. Woohoo!
Yeah, they have. And I
just said defense wasn't going to cover it. Yeah. So we said that defense wasn't gonna hold up, and that was their downfall, is that they couldn't stop anybody, and
so
anybody with a half decent defense and a half decent offense was going to stop them, and that's what happened.
So Oregon and Utah play this weekend. That's one of the biggest games of the weekend. Right. I would say right now that is for the number 2. That's
for number 2.
That's
for number 2.
That's for the number 2 spot in Pac-12.
Correct. And I'm going with Oregon at the moment.
Okay.
I think Oregon wins it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised because of the defense.
If Utah wins, then I say they're in the number 2 spot.
Oh no, they are. They are in the 2 spot because Oregon would have 2 losses. And
right.
Utah doesn't matter if they have 2 losses or not. they've beaten Oregon. They've got the head-to-head. So there you go. Because Oregon would have lost to Washington and to Utah, so they would be the number 3.
And Utah would have beaten USC and Oregon.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think USC is going to really be a factor in any of this. I think the factors are going to be between Utah, Washington, and Oregon. Who beats who?
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. I think it's those 3. So, and I think that right now, Washington will make it through and be in the championship game as the 1 seed. To me, I think that it will be a rematch with Oregon. As of right now, that's what I'm going with, that it's going to be a rematch with Oregon in the championship game. And again, coin flip as to who wins that one. The winner of that game, as long as they remain a 1-loss team, or 1 loss or less, will be in the college football playoff.
All right. That sounds about
right. If those teams have multiple losses, then it won't matter. They will not make it. And they'll pull a second team from somewhere else. Like Michigan and Ohio State playing each other.
All right. So going to take a little bit of a break here and let John talk about it. I'm going to pull this up on the screen. We've got some exciting news. He's actually wearing a shirt, so I'm going to let John kind of talk about this.
In case you, for those that have the visual medium here, this is the Auburn 1980s baseball style shirt. If you look up Bo Jackson and Auburn baseball, does have something that's very similar. The only difference between what they're doing and what Auburn actually did is that Auburn had a orange and white stripe around the collar and orange and white stripes around the sleeve. All right. So that is but Home Field Apparel is a company that I've been, very much following for a while now, really due to various podcasts that were pushing Home Field Apparel. But I think that Connor over at Home Field Apparel has been making such a great, awesome, retro, vintage looking t-shirts. Now they have their basic shirts, and then the designs that they have come up with, they are vintage college licensed apparel. They have over 150 colleges and universities that they have signed on there. They do also several different things, giveaways, grab bags, blind draws and stuff like that. And they have bomber jackets that they just released. They have some hats, some joggers,
really cool bomber jackets,
hoodies, sweatshirts, stuff like that. So there's a bunch of different things that you can get from Home Field Apparel. We do have a link right now. We're still in the process of everything, so there may be more to come from us with Home Field Apparel, but we are with Home Field Apparel. This is a Home Field Apparel shirt. It is very comfortable, very, very fitting for like what I have. And you could go through, again, 180 collegiate license vintage gear, and you will not be dissatisfied. So I did talk to them about one school. They did inform me that school didn't do vintage, and it made me sad. But it was not a home field problem. It was a problem with the university, and I didn't like that. But either way. But I do love Home Field Apparel, and I love all the ones out there. I'm actually probably going to be venturing out and getting things that are not just Auburn gear. So I have a bunch of Auburn gear, and I'm actually going to be looking into other different ones, like the Furman FU shirt, that purple shirt with the white FU. Yes.
Yeah.
Get me all of that. Arizona State, give me the devil. All right. Give me the yellow shirt with the red devil on it. Yep. I like that. give me some Long Beach
There's
State.
a
Well,
lot
that's
of
not Long
cool
Beach State.
vintage
It's
stuff.
there's some California teams that I like to go look for their like the baseball. I think it's not Long Beach. It's there's another one that's over there it's a California school. Like to go look at some of those that have baseball tied to it. So I try to go get a bunch of the baseball gear. And then Tulane's got some cool looking stuff too. I do like the powder blue. So as you can see, I have a powder blue Auburn one, but Tulane's got powder blue stuff. Ole Miss has got powder blue if you're into that color. So you can definitely get into.
There is definitely, if you're into retro or vintage looks, or for sports,
every school's got something that looks awesome.
This is a great place to go. We would appreciate it. You can find some links on my Twitter page, Brad CS Cast. I've already posted some of those links, and you can help support us and get some really damn cool retro vintage college sports gear. So we'd appreciate it, guys. All right, man. We're going to move on to our no-fly zone.
Go for it.
And my first no-fly zone, John, is, does the NCAA have it out for Jim Harbaugh?
I mean, look, he's just an easy target, okay? He's real easy, and he doesn't really shy away from it. He likes the controversy. He wants to go head on with anybody. It doesn't really matter. He wants to buy a burger for anybody. He'll buy a burger for whoever he damn well pleases, okay? It's burger and milk, and he'll go wear his khakis, go spend the night in some person's house, whatever he's got to do.
Cheese for the bagel?
That's right. He's buying the cream cheese for the bagel, and you could go after him all you want. So he went for sign stealing this time. And, just the thing about it is, War Dad got caught. Okay. War Dad got caught at playing war games. Okay. And that's really it. War Dad got caught playing war games, and the whole point of this is don't get caught.
Yeah, but I don't think Harbaugh hides from it.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But if you want to not, it's of course. I think he's just doing it just for S's and G's apparently, but still. He's like, I'm gonna. That guy, he's got that right there. They're throwing the bomb. Everybody wave, bomb, 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 bomb. That's it. It's the bomb. Back up, bomb, bomb, bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's a part of me that says that they do have it out for Harbaugh, but at the same time, I think Harbaugh just doesn't give a shit.
Yes, the answer is yes to both of those. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think. Yep. It's no fly on both sides. Fly
it's
on both
fly.
sides.
Yeah, it's definitely sides. Fly on both.
Yeah, on both sides. All right, my next one is Clemson. Listen, is things about to get really, really ugly at Clemson?
Yes.
Are they on the verge of something really ugly there?
They're on the verge of, let's see, how do we put this? Waking up to reality.
They are going to NC State, and they are down a wide receiver and a defensive back this week, heading to NC State. Is things about to get really ugly at Clemson?
They are. And, Brad, you're doing that little mic cutting in and out thing. But, yes, they are about to get really ugly. They just refuse. Dabo refuses to go through the portal. He refuses to support NIL. So eventually he's not going to get the top tier recruits. He'll get good recruits. They'll be solid, but they're not going to be elite. They're not going to be the elite team that they have been for several years. You're not going to have those generational quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson and and the kid from Cartersville, Georgia. Why am I going blank on the kid's name? But the elite quarterbacks are gone by the wayside now because Klubnik's not really elite. All right, so
He was a 5-star.
but what has he done?
I'm just saying, he was a 5-star kid.
Great. You know who else was a 5-star? Probably some Joe Schmo at Bama that stunk. You know,
I'm
I
just
don't know.
saying.
Ty Simpson. Is he a 5-star or is he 4?
He might have been a 5. He was a 5 or a 4.
Okay, so then he played against USF, and what did they do in that game? Nothing. What did UAB do against them with a bunch of not 5-star athletes? They put up a bunch of points against them. So sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
I mean, Dabo was talking about maybe they needed to lose some to get the bandwagon fans off, and then they go out and lose to Miami. I mean, it looks really ugly in Clemson right now.
Yes, the answer is we should lose some right now. We should get out there. My goal is to lose. No,
I swear that's what he said.
The goal isn't ever to lose. All right, it's not. The goal is to get better every time. Now, obviously, the ultimate goal is to win and to win it all, but if you're coming at it, and let's just say we're going to do it from Dabo or from the Nick Saban because it's the process, right? The process is the goal. The goal is to perfect the process. And if you perfect the process, then if you're doing your job and the guy next to you is doing their job and you've got all 11 of you doing your job the way you're supposed to be doing it, then the end result should be a win. Ultimately, that's what it is.
Well, in all 3 phases, yes.
Well, like I said, the 11 people, the other 10 people that are on the field with you, if they're doing their job, and then when you have the other 2 phases of the game out there, and those 11 are doing their job, then yes, you should ultimately win the game if everything is gone according to what he's saying. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's the end result will be that. But anyway, what I was explaining when you left was that they're going to wake up. Clemson's going to wake up. If Dabo continues to refuse to recruit the portal and refuse to
make some changes
to go for NIL, all right, they're not going to get the elite players. They're not going to go get all the elite. They'll be solid because he can coach up, 3 and 4 star players. That's what he'll have. He'll have a bunch of 3s and a bunch of 4s, and he'll coach them up, and they'll win 8, 9, 10 games. All right. They will be Auburn because that's what it is. Clemson is Auburn with a lake. And that's what they'll be. They'll be Auburn when Auburn was rolling. They'll be good once every 4 or 5 years, being like elite once every 4 or 5 years, but they're going to be solid for the remaining time. And he'll do that until the fans get tired of that and ultimately run.
But Clemson fans are like, they're on top of the world. They think they should be winning titles every year. Are they going to be okay with 8 or 9 wins?
No, they won't. That's why I said until eventually they run him off. He either has to change or they're going to run him off. So
fair enough.
That's what's going to happen. And now they're watching their former defensive coordinator figure out how to get, Oklahoma to just an unbelievable offense and also have a really good defense. Clemson has been a team that's either had really good offense or really good defense. Sometimes they've had both, but that's rare.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, my next one is this. Is Lincoln Riley going to wear thin at USC? Because they've kind of got a reputation of coaches who have done pretty good and run them off. Several of them. Stark, Clay Helton, Lane Kiffin. Like, I can go down the list.
Sark was fired because he was an alcoholic at the time. He'd made a fool of himself in front of a bunch of donors being drunk.
Well, Clay Helton's first 22 games, 17-5. Guess what?
Clay Helton was not the sexy pick. He didn't look like a West Coast guy. He was a backup quarterback to Stan White at Auburn, and he's not the flashy, Hollywood, Mr. Hollywood. So he didn't look like Hollywood. Sark did to a degree, but at the time, not saying right now, because I think he's cleaned up and, he went to Second Chance U with Alabama, went to the Nick Saban rehab program, and now has, Texas, and is doing really well at Texas. So, Lane Kiffin went through there. They left him on a tarmac, but Lane Kiffin didn't really do anything. Like, they weren't successful under Lane Kiffin. So while you're talking, nobody's hearing you. So I've got you on mute. Not really. But they had Lane Kiffin. They had, you said, Clay Helton. They had Sarkisian. They had what's his name up there with the Seattle Seahawks. But I mean, like I said, those teams are flashy. Pete Carroll, by the way, those teams are flashy. They show a lot of offense. They're very promising. And as long as he has the ability to score a lot of points, they'll hang on to him for a little while. The only thing about this is that it's going to be proven that the defense matters to a degree. And if he doesn't change with that, then at some point in time, and I don't know how soon that's going to be, but at some point in time, they'll be bothered that they're not winning championships. But I mean, let's face it, it's Southern California. And again, there are more things to do in Southern California than go see USC football.
But I'm telling you, they have a track record of cutting people short. They just do.
I think that this will last for a little bit longer. Like I said, he has enough promise on the offensive side that as long as he keeps doing that, they will their eyes will shiny, like shiny toys, and they will keep them around for a little while longer. But eventually, the rust, the underbelly, the defense that they don't have will be out there, and they will eventually want championships, and they need at least some form of a defense. At least a player playing on the defensive side of the ball instead of the other offense just playing against air, because that's really what's going on right now.
All right. I mean, that's fair. I just wanted to ask these questions to you. And I'm going to switch it up and go to a basketball question, okay? But on basketball, so bigs in college is being used a whole lot more traditional. And in NBA, they're being used from the outside and a lot of threes. And do you think that the usage in college basketball is better for bigs than what is being done in the NBA?
So some of the bigs in college basketball still have or at least the threat of an outside shot,
but not all.
Which is what is being used in the NBA, or is what everybody is trying to
Zach
go for.
Edey
That
doesn't. Oscar
that seven
Tshiebwe didn't.
That 7-footer that can shoot the outside. Who was it that went through Auburn? the shot blocker. I mean, he had an outside shot. That's what he was trying to do. What North Carolina was not allowing him to do, but then what Bruce Pearl promised he could do, and he did. He got a couple of shots off per game from the outside. He is now more of a traditional NBA big, but he does have somewhat of an outside game. Smith has an outside shot. He was 6'7".
I knew you would go to this with this
6'8",
talk, but there are
but
bunch
at the same
of
time,
bigs
they're not
who
really bigs
are
because
not
they're not the bigs. You know, they're tall with an outside shot, but I
But
mean,
Zach
Timmy
Edey's
was
not doing that. He was the player of the year. Oscar Tshiebwe was the player of the year before that. He's
and
not
he was a
doing
huge rebounder. Yes, and like I said, you've got the two guys that played at Auburn that were more shot. Well, one was more of a shot blocker. One was more of a, an outside shot type guy. So, I mean,
the bigs being played in college is way more traditional.
yeah,
than
I
what
mean,
is
I would
being
say
done
it's
in
probably
NBA.
closer to being, yes, it's more traditional than it is in the NBA. Yes. Because, I mean, I guess nobody plays defense in the NBA. I don't know. I think it's defense is more.
I actually think that the bigs are actually being hurt in the NBA. Like, it's kind of like the running back in the NFL. Like, the running
I mean, it
backs are
is more
going to the
physical. It's
wayside.
physical. There's
And I think that the
it
bigs
takes
in
a
the
toll on the
NBA
body.
is going by the wayside.
Yeah, it takes a toll on the body. So,
I mean, if I had to compare it to anything, I would compare it to the running backs in the NFL.
Right. So those are ones like you can get bigs in the second, third round as opposed to trying to get them in the first round, right? Because that's what the running backs are going, right? You go get them late. You don't necessarily have to get them up front. They don't have to be the first pick in the draft. They're not going to be. You might get one or two in the first round, but I mean that's the elite of elite. Everybody else, I mean, eventually they're all the same. So why waste your pick in the first round when you can get them, or why waste a lottery pick on one when you can go and get one that's just as good in the later rounds? I mean, that's how the running backs are viewed right now. So,
right. But I kind of like the way the bigs are being used in college basketball. I mean, right now.
I mean,
it's a whole lot more traditional. I'm not saying that some bigs don't go out and shoot threes, because some bigs do go out and shoot threes.
That's true.
Even in college basketball. I'm not saying that they don't, but there are some. I mean, you take Zach Edey, he don't move 6'8" feet ever.
Yeah, there's not really a reason for him to do that. So,
but you watch pro ball, and there's no big 6'8" over all the time.
No, because I mean, even you get Kevin Durant, who's been shooting threes since college, and he's what, 6'11"?
Yeah, right at 7.
Yeah, and he's been shooting.
He's been out all those years.
He was more of a mid-range shooter. Dirk was. He did a lot of step back.
On the outside. He didn't play in the middle, and he was 7.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back to football.
For those of you in the audio realm, he has gone by the wayside on the audio. So A&M, Arkansas, South Carolina, who makes a coaching change first? And for me, let's see. South Carolina is still a new toy. Arkansas, that's the one that could be done first. Arkansas or A&M, because A&M still has the ability to be like 6-6 or 7-5, and there's no way that in year 6 of Jimbo Fisher that you can accept that, especially year 3 after the greatest class ever. Year 3, could you allow them, those that stuck around, to go 7-5? Arkansas is going to be the funny one, because that's the one where, like, he never was a head coach before. He was an offensive line coach, became a head coach. He's very much endearing himself to the fan base, but the team's just not performing. So, I mean, everybody loves the Arkansas head coach, but he could be the first one to go. It's really, to me, I think it's between him and between Jimbo Fisher, because if they end at 7-5 or 6-6 in College Station, I mean, I just don't see them being like the fan base thinking that he's a good coach and we should keep him. They're going to pay him all that money.
Didn't they go 5-7 last year?
They did, but I think that okay, so he's year 6, right? I explained this. He's year 6, and it's year 3 of the greatest recruiting class ever, right? They're on their 3rd year, and if they're still going 7-5, it's a problem. So,
but Arkansas's looked bad. They've lost 6 in a row.
I told you, I said it's between him and Fisher being the guy, and I just, he's such an endearing figure to the fan base and to college football as a whole that one's going to be one that tugs at your heartstrings. To
actually this week, John, South
him.
Carolina and Texas A&M play each other. They're 2-5. South Carolina's 2-5.
If South Carolina wins, then, I mean, they shouldn't allow Jimbo Fisher back on the bus.
Okay. What are they, 4-3? Is that what Texas A&M is?
Let's see. They've lost to Bama. They lost to Miami, and they lost – who else did they lose to? Did they lose to anybody else?
They lost to
Bama,
Tennessee.
Miami, and Tennessee. Bama, Miami, and Tennessee. So, yes, they've lost 3 games. And they have the ability to lose to LSU. They have the ability to lose to – don't they play Georgia in the regular season?
No, I don't think Georgia plays them.
Are we sure? I don't think so, but it's possible. Let's look up Texas A&M's. I want to look up their
They play South Carolina this week, and I know they play LSU at the end.
A&M schedule. Yeah, so that's 2 of their 5 or so games. They've got Mississippi State, which they should win. They've got LSU, Ole Miss. So
Ole Miss.
So they have 3 losses. They could have 2 more or 3 more. I mean, South Carolina potentially could do it, but
I just saw some stuff today online about firing Beamer, and that's the first time I've seen that. And
so I
thought I'd throw that out there.
I don't know about firing Beamer right now. I mean, maybe after next year or the year after, if you just have if nothing is moving forward and there's dissension among the players, but I just don't know about firing Beamer right yet. But I definitely would be looking at the other 2. And like I said, one is endearing to the fan base, and the other one, it's more of just, can you part ways with your pocketbook? One tugs at your heartstrings, one tugs at your wallet. Who cuts bait first?
I got you.
So,
all right, guys, we're coming to the end, the final buzzer. I'm going to just talk about college basketball real quick, guys. It begins in 2 weeks. So, the polls have come out. Excited about college basketball starting. It starts the week of November the 6th. So we are just 2 weeks out from college basketball beginning. And, you've got a lot of preseason stuff and polls, and you got exhibition games and things of that nature over the next 2 weeks to kind of keep your eyes out on. And college basketball is loaded, maybe more so than ever in my lifetime, with team after team after team who have experience and talent.
So that is a product.
Get 8, 9, 10 teams.
That is a product of NIL and COVID.
COVID has a big because you got the extra year.
You got all the extra years for the mid range talent people, the ones that were like not good enough really to go up, but want to be able to hold on to as much experience as they possibly can.
That really and truthfully, John, is
the NIL has allowed people to stick around for a little bit longer, where they're not necessarily wanting to jump ship to the NBA or bypass college altogether and go to the G League right out of high school. So you're now being able to go and showcase your talents on TV with, ESPN and Fox and CBS on national television for basketball, and be able to get all the exposure you need and get paid because of NIL. So it's just it's gotten a lot better for those, for basketball. Baseball, very much the same way. And then football, you have to be in school for 3 years. Mainly, it's going to be a safety issue. They're not going to allow you to go to the NFL because they'll kill you. So, you should expect baseball and basketball to have a lot better, lot deeper talent, deeper rosters, spread out, and more parity across the board. So I think that's,
speaking of parity, I'm going to jump in here real quick. So I think there's literally 30 to 40 teams who could possibly make a run to the Elite Eight.
I thought you were about to talk about like SEC
basketball.
shorts, like somebody that was parody of a situation.
But there's so many teams across the landscape of college basketball right now that could make a run, a legitimate run, if everything goes right and they gel together, to the Elite Eight.
Yes, and like I said,
I
think that's.
Give y'all an example.
I think that's a
FAU, Florida Atlantic has five starters returning from a Final Four team. When's the last time that happened?
So you're telling me that everybody that started the game last year is going to be playing this year?
Is back.
So it's not just like, hey, we got five starters. It's like no, we have the entire roster that's back.
The starters. Now, yes, their starters, their entire roster of starters is back. And they're ranked 10th. Not 1 or 2 or 3. They're ranked 10th in the country.
Well, that should tell you a lot.
When's the last time that college basketball even had a team that was a Final Four team have all 5 starters back?
That's probably rare, because for the most part, I think that when you go into the Final Four, you probably have lottery picks on your team. They're gone.
Yeah.
And that means
it's probably been 30 years
that means
or more.
-1 is not 5, right? So then that means, you're going to lose 1, 2, 3 guys. If your team makes a Final Four, I mean, you're almost guaranteed to have a lottery pick or 2 or 3, depending on your team, and you're not going to return all 5 starters. Again, NIL has allowed for parity and for just depth of rosters in the college basketball, and what you'll find later as we talk about college baseball coming into February. We will talk about college baseball, and we will pretty much probably discuss a lot of this again.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of the same thing.
It's just amazing to me that they are ranked 10th, not 1 or 2 or 3, but 10th.
Right.
After returning 5 starters. So, that's how many good teams there is in college basketball. And I'm pretty excited about that. And just wanted to bring that up. We're about to end the show, guys. Our next show is going to be Thursday night on the 26th at 8 o'clock. That's going to be our Game Day Pick'em show for Week 9. I'll have Hammonds back with me that night. So join us for that. We'll pick 10 or 12 of the best games this week and do DraftKings Sportsbook with the spreads and pick games with the spreads for you guys and have a little fun doing that. I'm leading for the season. Week yet, but on Thursday night, I'm leading for the season though. On all our picks, I've been keeping track this year, John.
Gotcha.
So, yeah,
I haven't picked once, or maybe I picked the first week.
We're having a little fun with it, and guys, check us out on Home Field Apparel. Check out all that stuff, man. Great to. As College SportsCast, to be able to offer to you guys a full line of team after team after team, of vintage, really cool retro apparel. So check them out. We appreciate them coming on board with us. And we will see you guys on Thursday for our Game Day Pick'em.
Peace.
John, it's been fun. This has been our Week 9 The Big Fuss